Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, March 1st, 2017, and this is your fun fact of the day. What's the difference Wednesday? Today we're looking at alcohol, specifically a couple of hard ones that I've never fully understood the difference between until I did the exact research about the subject. What is the main difference between Scotch and whiskey? Well, simply, the main difference is geographic, just where it's made. There's also some difference in spellings, ingredients, process. We'll cover that. Specifically, Scotch is whiskey, but it's made in Scotland, hence the name. However, bourbon, also a whiskey, is made in USA, usually Kentucky. Scotch is mostly made from fermented barley, that kind of grain, while bourbon is usually more of distilled corn. Back to the geographic idea, if you're in England and you ask for whiskey, you'll end up with a Scotch. If you're in Ireland and ask for whiskey, you'll get Irish whiskey. The main difference being one has an E in it. Scotch whiskey from the UK does not have an E in it, it's W-H-I-S-K-Y, whiskey, whereas Irish whiskey has the E, it's K-E-Y on the end of that word. Tennessee whiskey, it's simply straight bourbon made in Tennessee. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Sour Mash wanted the distinction because they believe their process was different enough from most other Kentucky bourbons to actually have its own distinction. Rye is the most difficult of all these hard alcohols to define, and the reason for this comes from historical naming. While you would assume that rye whiskey would be made predominantly from rye mash, much like how bourbon is made from corn mash, that sort of mash, this is actually not always the case, which is what causes this confusion. For instance, in Canada, the only reason, or the only requirement to label your whiskey as anything rye, it just has to have any amount of rye in it. And to possess the same aroma, taste, other characteristics generally attributed to Canadian whiskey, whatever those are. And whiskey, Irish whiskey, is basically just straight whiskey, aged and grown, created in the Republic of Ireland. You are free to use any grains in Irish whiskey, but you have to label it as blended if you use more than one different grain. And the whiskey must be aged for at least 3 years in wooden casks. So there's a very short description. If you would like more robust description with more details, links in the description below. In other news, it is National Dadgum That's Good Day. I'm alright with that. Jack Daniels is a personal friend of mine. Good stuff. It is also National Peanut Butter Lovers. Definitely behind that. Peanut butter's delicious. And National Pig Day. So say hello to your swine for me. Hope you've enjoyed this fun fact of the day. See you tomorrow.